What is going on to all you wonderful humans at WDDS? If you don't know me, my name is Mike Massey, also known as Mindful Mike. It is my pleasure to talk to you for the next 10, 15, or 20 minutes on what mindfulness is and how you can use it practically in your life. What I usually like to call it is a practical path to mindfulness, meaning it isn't all about closing your eyes, being all calm, being all zen, and having no thoughts. On the 14th, I was there in person with you all. And we had a great conversation. I had lots and lots of questions during the talk. I had a ton of questions after the talk, and actually people still messaging me, and those are coming in. And if you have any questions after this video, hit me up at mindfulmike.ca. Just hit contact Mike, just like that. Or of course, DM me at mindfulmassey, M-A-S-S-E. Just DM me. I'm happy to get back to you. What the purpose and the intent of this video is to look at how I talked on the 14th. I did 2 talks, both about 2 hours long. I want to condense kind of the highlights of those talks, give you really the condensed Cold Notes version to make this video as fun and as easy to watch as possible, and most importantly, to give you an overall idea of what the program is going to look like for you on how to train your mind, or what we're calling it, how to be kind to your mind. So my whole deal is why I got into mindfulness is I used to work frontline in social services and social work. I worked at Children's Aid for some time. I worked in addiction counseling. I worked, way back when in group homes. I worked in some management gigs. And what I always found is that my mind was never present. My mind was in the future with what might happen, may happen, or could happen, or my mind was in the past going over rehashing what I should have done or what I could have done differently. And what I found is that no matter what I was doing, no matter what job I was doing, I could be present with people physically, but mentally and emotionally, I wasn't there. Mentally, emotionally, I was thinking about what might happen. I was thinking about what may happen. I was thinking about what could happen. And I wasn't really here with them. So learning how to train my mind to come back to the present moment via mindfulness has given me the tool to not only handle my emotions and my thoughts in a healthier way, but to actually be more present with people in a positive way. And what I mean by this, well, I used to be at home on a Sunday thinking about what I'm going into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, thinking about, do I have to do this now, after that? And then I'd go to these worst case scenarios. And as I was going through my mind on the hamster wheel and I was going over all these scenarios that might happen, may happen, or could happen, I found that my anxiety was growing and growing and growing, or my anger was growing and growing and growing. And I wasn't able to be present. Like I said, I'd be here on Saturday or Sunday, physically, mind off thinking about worst case scenario. Or someone say, Mike, I need to talk to you. Mind goes to worst case scenario. And I found that over time, this was causing me an inordinate amount of stress. And it was piling up over the days and over the weeks and over the months and over the years, where then I was reacting to stress. I was reacting to what might happen. If I had to drive somewhere, I'd be going to worst case scenario, thinking about what I'm going into, maybe based off past situations. So this video in 10, 15, or 20 minutes is not really going to change your life, but the idea is that you follow it and you see what connects with you. You see if anything I'm saying resonates with you. And if that's the case, then let's take our program, Be Kind to Your Mind. Let's take the program that can help change your brain and help you respond to your stress in a healthier way without making it worse. So if you're the type of human who thinks that mindfulness is this thing, and you're like, Mike, I tried to meditate before, it didn't work for me, or mindfulness doesn't work, I've tried it, or I read a book, and my mind's too busy, or I don't have any time, I promise you, I know all of that resistance, I speak it fluently. The key is this: mindfulness is not this thing where you sit down, you put nice calm music on, you breathe in, you breathe out, you have no thoughts, your mind is super chill and super calm, and maybe after 15 or 20 minutes of having no thoughts, you leave the meditation with a huge smile and you feel really relaxed, and you're so relaxed that you sleep the next week with no stress and your mind is so present. That's not mindfulness. Mindfulness is your ability to bring your awareness back to the present moment, in the here and now, to experience what's actually happening now. Your ability to then respond or choose how you're handling a situation instead of reacting. Mindfulness gives you the ability to respond or to hold your emotions in a healthier way. What do I mean by this? Well, a lot of people, they walk around with an emotion. So let's say that emotion is anger. okay? And they hold that emotion in an inefficient way. They hold it really tight. Maybe they hold it over their head and they walk around like this with the anger, and they hold it and they hold it and hold it, and it's really affecting them. Sure, it affects maybe people around them, like their loved ones. Maybe it affects the person they're angry at, but most importantly, them holding that anger in an inefficient way really affects them. What I try to help people do is look at how they're holding that emotion and to see if they can soften their grip on how they hold that emotion, to see if they can soften their grip on how they're experiencing that emotion. And that's all I want to look at, not just today, but over the next 8 weeks in the program, starting March 1st with you all. Starting March 1st, looking at how can we train our mind to be nicer to ourselves? How can we train our mind when it goes off and thinks about the future with what might happen, may happen, or could happen? How can we train our mind to come back to the present moment and to be more present in the here and now, not making things worse for you, not adding to it? Let's say to people all the time, that anger you're holding, that frustration, that sadness, that judgment you're holding, imagine it's like a tack. And if you're walking around this tack and you're holding it tighter for whatever reason, you're squeezing that tight, it's only affecting you in a negative way. So let's learn together how to soften your grip on that tack and to hold it. It doesn't matter if the attack is anger or frustration or guilt or shame. If you can hold it in a healthier way, it's going to be better for you. If you spend a third of your life in bed, sleeping or trying to sleep, because most people wake up at like 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, mind racing about tomorrow, busy. And then we know half the time that you're awake, you're spending 49.6% of that time in the future with what might, may, or could happen, or in the past with what has happened. That means a third of your gig, right? A third of your time being here on the earth, you're present. Another third of the time, you're sleeping. Another third of the time, you're in the past or future. Let's learn with that time that we're here, let's be more present more often. Why? So when you're actually with people that you want to be with, you can spend time being with them in that present moment, in the here and the now, which I know is crazy for everyone to think, but this is what we do. We learn how to train our brain to be more present more often. So when you're with people, you can be with people that you love. When your mind rushes off and thinks about the future, you can come back to be with them in the here and now. And instead of giving so much free mental space to things that aren't happening or to things that have already happened, how can we train our mind to be calm? How can we train our mind to be kind to ourselves? And most importantly, how can we train our mind to be more present more often so we can actually be here in the here and now? And we're going to do this over this 8-week program. We're going to do this by training our mind to learn a formal practice of mindfulness. What's a formal practice of mindfulness? A formal practice of mindfulness is you going to mindfulmike.ca, going to the meditations or the programs that we're going to do and pressing play and doing a guided meditation. Now, if you don't like my voice, like the meditations I do, that's cool. There's a million apps like Calm and Headspace that you can do and you can test out. You can go to YouTube and do a bunch of meditations for free there. But on my 8-week program with Be Kind to Your Mind, we're going to do a weekly protocol or practice of formal practices. Yes, sitting or lying, putting headphones on, doing 90 seconds of meditations, doing 3 minutes of meditations. Just me guiding you through some practices on how to train your mind to be more present. Why be more present? Everything happens in the now. So it makes more sense to train your brain how to be more present in the now. But we're also going to use many techniques informally. What's an informal practice? Great question. An informal practice is your ability to use mindfulness informally in life. So when you're at work and you're noticing a tension or tightness building up at work because something's happening with somebody you support or a coworker, or you're thinking about something at home that's going on and your mind's going, and the emotions are growing and growing, how can we stop? How can we press pause on that hamster wheel? How can we press pause on that emotion and work with them in a healthier way so you can respond and navigate how to work with those emotions in the healthiest of ways? And that's what we're going to do over those 8 weeks. And an informal practice is really just helping you use how to incorporate mindfulness throughout your day. That's not meditating, just informally using labels. So when you're caught in a thought and your mind's thinking about the future and that thing at 2 o'clock that's going to happen, and if it goes this way, then this might happen, and this might happen, this might happen. Stop. How can we stop that? Take a breath in, 1, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, and then respond. Or how can you use your labels and say, hey, that's a thought. That's not happening now. What's the fact? Well, the fact right now is I'm anxious. Well, we can work with anxiety in the present moment. We're going to learn how to do that over those 8 weeks. But until you train your brain to do that, your mind's going to have a problem and it's going to try to solve it. And it's going to keep waking you up. It's going to keep knocking on your door and saying, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? Until you think you have an idea on how to solve it. Then your brain's going to bring up another idea and say, yeah, but what if this happens then? So it makes more sense to train your brain and say, hey, that's a future Mike problem. That's not happening now. That's a future Mike problem. Let's learn how to come back to the present moment so we can be here, so we can be present in the moment, in the here and now, so we can respond to our stress in a healthier way. So that's what we're going to do over the next 8 weeks. The reason I'm so passionate about mindfulness is that mindfulness completely changed my life. It changed how I see my stress, or how I saw my stress, if I'm looking past tense, but it changes how I see my stress now. It totally changes how I notice my emotions. I say to people, it's like before I sneeze, I catch myself and I'm like, okay, I'm going to sneeze. I'm preparing for it. It's very similar with like my frustrating negative thoughts or my emotions. I'm able to catch them. I still get frustrated. I still get anxious. This is my second time recording this video. I was 17 minutes in last time and my youngest son came out, even though I told him I was recording. I said, hey, I'm recording for the next half an hour. Just stay in your room, everybody. Everybody got the message except for him. So he heard his footsteps walking around, looking for stuff. I got frustrated. Fact. Did I get as frustrated as humanly possible? Absolutely not. Why? I was allowed to get frustrated. I noticed my frustration rising. I noticed it. I was, instead of going to a 10, it probably got to like a 6 or 7. I did a little technique and got it down to like a 5. That's okay. I'm allowed to be frustrated at that situation. I'm allowed to be a 5. Now, a 5 is much easier for me to be a 10. If I'm a 10, I'm more likely to say something I regret, that I'm more likely to feel guilty about the situation. And why do I tell you this? Because I want you to know I use this all of the time. I use mindfulness all of the time. I use it. I told, in the talk, I said when I lost my best friend to cancer and I was sad about, losing him, and my mind was comparing like my loss to his wife's loss and thinking, well, you should be happy because you still have your family and you still have your kids and you're healthy and you should feel awful for her and awful for his kids and they have it way worse than you. Stop. Press pause. I'm allowed to feel bad for me and bad for them, right? This is something that happens when we have a regular mindfulness practice. We can talk and hold ourselves like we're talking to someone that we love, like we're holding someone that we care about. And this is the challenging thing about being a human, is especially when you work with humans for a living, there's a lot of energy going out. There's a ton of energy going out. What mindfulness can let you do is let you know that it's okay. It's okay to be kind to your mind. It's okay to give yourself a hug. It's okay to be present with your suffering and say to yourself, hey, this is really hard for me, and to learn how to fill that cup up. Now, of course, mindfulness isn't the only tool to do this. Mindfulness is not the only tool to fill your cup up, but you use your mind every single day. You use your brain every single day. Anything that ever happens to you, you have some sort of auditory comment on it. What I'm saying to you over the last 15 minutes or so, your mind has an auditory comment on it. Oh, that works. That doesn't work. That's not going to work for me. Oh, I have tried that in the past. Oh, that is right. Oh, that's not right. You have an ongoing overtop director's cut edition of anything I say. You're talking over it, and anything happens in your day. So why aren't we training our mind to have that voice be the most kind, compassionate voice to ourselves and saying, hey, yeah, that is really hard on you. Oh, that is really challenging to do some self-care, but this is how it can help you. It works much better if your mind is nicer to yourself. But that is something that we have to train our mind to do. Just like we can train our mind to work with our emotions in a healthier way, right? It doesn't mean that when you're out in the rain, you're always going to be caught out in the rain, and then you're on a snap of a fingers and a snap magically, because you meditate, the rain stops and the sun comes out and you're like, wow, this is so beautiful. It doesn't mean that. It means that if you have a regular practice of mindfulness, it's like an umbrella and you can use it no matter where you are. It doesn't mean the storm's not coming. It doesn't mean things aren't going to get wet. But for you, it has the ability so you can respond and handle that situation in a healthier way. And that's all I'm saying. And if that doesn't sit with you, that is 100% okay too. It took me a couple years to really get into mindfulness and to have a regular practice, because I would try it, I think I would suck at it, I would come back to it, I would suck at it again, I'd come back to it. And it wasn't until I took an 8-week program that I felt like it changed my life and I started seeing things differently. And that's all we're looking at here. Over 8 weeks, how can we train our brain to be kind to ourselves? How can we train our mind to respond to our thoughts? How can we use labels like, oh, that's a thought. that might happen, may happen, or could happen. It's not happening now. What's happening now? What's the fact? The fact of the matter is what's happening now, I'm anxious. Well, we're going to learn how to work with anxiety in the present moment. We're going to learn some simple practices that aren't hours and hours long. It's going to take 90 seconds a day for you to do. And doing that with repetition over time is going to help you be more present more often. Why? Once again, everything happens in the now. Let's learn to be kind to our mind and to be present in the now. Let's end with a short little practice that I call 4 in and 4 out. So again, think about the last time that you're mad, worried, angry, upset, and it could be like at work or at home. You can do this with your eyes open, eyes closed. We can do this one as a hybrid, formal and informal, whatever you choose. But this is a short one that I led actually on Tuesday with you all on the 14th. So let's try this out. So just sitting in a comfortable position, just sitting comfortable. Just allow your eyes to close if you're comfortable doing that. And we're going to breathe in through our nose for the count of 4. And then we're going to breathe out the mouth for the count of 4. Now, if you are not comfortable breathing in through your nose, you can do your mouth. But ideally, I love an in-breath through the nose. So just starting now, just breathing in for that 1, 2, 3, 4. Now out, 2, 3, 4. Again, in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Again, in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. If your mind wanders off, don't get mad. Just come right back. Bring your awareness back to the present moment. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Mind goes off. Don't get mad at yourself. Come right back. Purposely breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Last one. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Eyes open. And there's our first practice. 4 in, 4 out. And again, why do we do this? Well, Mike, I'm like more anxious now. I'm like, my mind was busy. That's okay. Your mind goes off, come back. We're training our mind to come back. Why do we come back? Every time you come back in that moment to your breath, when you came back to your breath, that's a repetition. The more reps you do, the more that your mind muscle gets jacked, and the more jacked your mind muscle gets, the stronger it gets to handle your stress or your ability in a healthier way. Why? Because we're being present. We're not adding to things in the future that might never happen, that may never happen, that could never happen. We're working with stuff in the here and now. So that's how this program is going to work. We're going to go over, I'll show you very quickly. All you'd have to do, this is just an example, you go to mindfulmike.ca. You'd scroll on over, let's look at Be Kind to Your Mind, for example. You click on Be Kind to Your Mind. There's going to be a title page. As you can see, there's a Contact Mike. So if you ever have any questions, comments, concerns, all you do literally is hit Contact Mike. Like that. It goes to me. I get back to you. Then what we do is we have an intro video on how this program works, which is me literally just showing you something like this, how to navigate the program, most common questions, and kind of looking at how the protocol works. And then every single week for 8 weeks, it works like this. There's a weekly video. So here, week 1 video. In this video, I'm going over the basics, right? Over that video, and all the videos I try to make 7 to 10 minutes, kind of short and sweet. This is the longest video that I'll make for you all for sure. And then after the weekly video, whatever theory I teach, there's going to be a weekly protocol. So for this example, there's 3 90-second breaths to try out. And that's it. All you have to do is go there, press play. You press play, it works for you. It works on your tablet, works on your phone, works on your laptop. And the idea is this. I'm building this program for you all weekly. So if I'm noticing a lot of questions about sleep or a lot of questions about being home on a Sunday and the mind thinking about the future, I will make a video addressing those protocols and those practices. Why? Because the course is built for you. So I want to hear from y'all. So thank you so much for all the work that you do. Keep me posted with any questions, comments, or concerns. Go to mindfulmike.ca, hit Contact Mike, just like that, or DM me at mindfulmassey, M-A-S-S-E. There's going to be an email. Actually, there's a survey going out already, so I can get some feedback from y'all. But there's also going to be an email going out next Wednesday, so March 1st, the program will be alive. Week 1 will be available, and then We'll go the straight 8 weeks. We'll take probably a break for March break. But then if you have any questions, comments, concerns throughout the entire program, all you have to do is message me and I'm happy to help. Peace and love. Talk to y'all soon. Have a beautiful day. And thank you for all the work that you do. From my heart to yours, I look forward to helping you in any way that I can. Peace and love. Bye for now.